Hi, this is Amy Prendergast again, and in this video we're going to see how to use JSTOR to find some of your history resources. Now you may remember that when we were searching in OneSearch, we found that a lot of the results came from JSTOR, which gave us a clue that JSTOR might be a good place to search for history resources. So to find JSTOR, we're going to go to our databases and e-reference list, which is right here. And this is an alphabetic list, so you could use the J and from the alphabet menu, or you could just scroll down to get JSTOR. You can also use the tags on the right-hand side and go to history. But before we do that, I also want to show you something else that might be useful. In addition to the history tag, there is also a newspapers tag, and newspapers can be useful for history research. I have to admit, I don't know that we have any that are helpful for your particular time period, that is pre-1750, but maybe in some of your other history classes, some of these might be useful. And these tell you what time periods are covered. And his newspapers can be a good source can be a good primary source if the article is written by a reporter who was there at the time, or it gives direct quotes, verbatim quotes from people who were there at the time. Those are just a couple of ways that newspapers can be useful as primary sources for history research. But we're going to go back out to our previous list, and this time we're going to look and see what we find with our history tag. And these are all databases that have been selected as being possibly of use in history research. And one of them is, of course, JSTOR, and that's what we're going to look at today. But I would recommend you look down, give a look at all of these and see if any of them might be useful for your purpose. See, there's one for slavery and abolition. So if you were interested, of course, that only goes back to 1789. So that's something you need to take note of too. And there's one that covers from 1702 through 1879. So it's possible that might have some stuff you could use. So, but we're going to look at JSTOR right now. And our link goes to the advanced search page for JSTOR. So we're going to continue using our sample search for Quakers in colonial. So I'm going to put Quaker and our wildcard truncation symbol asterisk, and then we're going to use the term and or let's use the term or. Society of Friends. Remember, we found that in our catalog search. And remember, we're putting quotes around it to make it search as a phrase. And then I'm going to add a search box, and we're going to use our second term to limit to colonial time, and we're going to put and colonial. And we're going to click Submit Advanced Search. Okay, and it found a lot, found 20,908 search results. And there's several different ways we can limit this. You can look at the Refine Results pane on the left-hand side. If you were just interested in journals, you could choose that. Book chapters, you could choose that. Research reports, you could choose any of those. I want to point out sometimes you'll see a limit for primary sources. I don't see that here, but sometimes you will see that. So far I found that to be of, well, there you go, primary source content. Don't know what I was looking at, but there it is, primary source content. I would take that with a grain of salt because I haven't found that to be terribly useful, but you might. I mean, I guess it's worth a look, but we're not going to bother with it right now. So we are going to look at some of the results, and when you're looking at the results, you'll see that it gives you the title of the article, the quote, the citation information, and if there is an abstract, you'll see that here too. You won't always see that, but if there is one, it'll give you at least a extract from it. If you look at here on the right next to the article, you see you can download the PDF for an article, and just about everything you'll find in JSTOR is full text, with a few exceptions. But I think most of the stuff you'll find when you're doing a history search will probably be you'll be able to download the full text. You can save it. or you can cite the item. And this is useful because remember in one search we had the saved citation, and this does the same thing. It gives you the correct format for whatever citation format you're using. And for history, you're probably going to need Chicago. So, and we could limit the search still further if we go to advanced search. Let's see. Don't want to put the whole thing in again. But let's see. Okay, so search within results. That's what we want. So we're going to do. Remember, we were searching for anti-slavery or abolitionism. So let's do anti-slavery and search. And remember that now we're down to 18 and 11, so that limited it quite a lot. And there's some things you can do in JSTOR that don't show up if you're just doing a search, just like we are now. But if you have a login to JSTOR, which you can get for free, there's several other options you can do. You can. So I would, if you're going to be doing some searching in JSTOR, I would encourage you to do that. And I have done that, so I'm going to log in to my the workspace, they call it. So I'm going to put my username, which is, and my password, which is, I have to be careful typing it because I haven't memorized it yet. So, and click login. And there we go. Okay, now I'm logged in, and now when I save items, say I like, okay, and you can see I've saved some stuff in previous searches, which it knows because I'm logged into my account. So I've saved this item, and let's see, I've saved this item and that item, and let's say one more. Say we're interested in this one. We click on save, and it shows you. It tells you save to workspace, and it shows you the folders I've used previously. So, and there's one for Quakers. So if I click there, it'll go to my Quakers folder and view in workspace. It saved it to my Quakers folder, and now we're going to view the Quaker folder in the workspace. And from here you have all the functionality from the original results list. You can cite the item and a couple other things too. You can remove it from the list. You can share it with someone. You can add a note to it. That might be useful if you're doing an extended research project. Like for instance, in the future, if you just happen to be working on a dissertation or a thesis or something like that, that might be useful. That's your workspace, and obviously, as you see, you have more than one folder and save stuff in it, and keep track of it from one time to the next. One more thing I want to show you in JSTOR is kind of a blinging little thing that they have in beta test that is called Text Analyzer. So I'm actually going to open another window. I'm going to go to another window for Text Analyzer, and because it works best that way. So we're going to go to Databases and eReference and pull up JSTOR again. We're just going to go directly to it in the menu. And we're going to go to Text Analyzer. And what you can do with Text Analyzer is you can drag and drop or choose from select a file from your computer into Text Analyzer, and then it will analyze it and find you other articles in the JSTOR databases that match the same criteria. So we're going to go back to our JSTOR list, and I'm going to make this smaller so we can use it to drag and drop. So now we have our list, so we're going to go down and say we decide we like this one. So we're going to drag that over into the drag and drop, and it uploads it, analyzes it, and in a minute it'll give us our recommendations. And there we go. In just a minute we'll see what it's going to tell us. Okay, here we are, text analyzer, and this is the analysis. And it gives you this little set of sliders, so you can change the priority. It make one item less prioritized than it is, or make another term more important. If you see one that's not interesting to you, or that's not relevant to your search, you want to remove that altogether, you can do that. Say we're not interested in Jewish ethics or philosophy of religion. So that'll get rid of the articles that primarily deal with that. So and it shows you some topics that, and this seems very useful to me because it will give you some terms that might help you focus your search, broaden it out, narrow it down, some more keywords or search terms you can add to your worksheet if they seem useful to you. Okay. And of course, you can still save the items, cite the items, download the PDFs, and that is Text Analyzer. So that's a quick introduction to JSTOR. And I'm going to go back out to the home page, and there's just a couple of more things I want to show you. And one is the course and subject guides. Well, before we get to that, I just want to mention interlibrary loan real quickly. If you find an item, which you might, we have a lot of stuff available online, but if you find an item that we don't have either in print form in the library or online, is still, all is not lost. You still might be able to get it. And the way you do that is through interlibrary loans. So you would get an ILLiad account, and if you don't have one, you click there where it says use first-time user registration, and go through the legal stuff. And you fill out this form. Everything that has a red asterisk by it needs to be filled out. And then click Submit Information, and then it'll take you to the introductory page for interlibrary loan, and you can choose the search form, the request form you want, whether it's for a book chapter or a whole book or for a journal article. And then the interlibrary loan staff will find a library that does own it and request them to send it to us. And if it's a digital format, they can probably get it pretty quickly. But you would need to give them a little time for that, because they can't do it. I mean, if you come in the day before your paper is due and say, I need this, you're probably not going to get what you need that way. So plan ahead a little bit and see what you can find and what you might need to request, and they'll give them some time to work. But they can do pretty good stuff. So and let's see. So that's interlibrary loans. And the last thing I want to point out is under our course and subject guides. I have a course guide specifically for this class and other history classes, and they're in order by course number. So if you look over here under course guides and scroll down to HY, and this one is undergraduate seminar, U.S. colonial history. So click there. And all kinds of useful stuff here. If you look under finding books, I've put here some terms you can use to find primary sources. The term that you can add to your search in your keyword and search. Sources is one. Diaries with a question mark on the end to make it search as a root word. Bibliography, letters, correspondence. I don't see. I'll add that later. Documents is another one you might try, but those all might be useful search terms for finding primary sources. So, and just a couple more things. Some titles, sample titles that I found. A link to primary sources there, and a link to the guide that my colleagues. Beth Shepard has put together for finding primary sources, and a list of the Chicago style, some online sources, and also some information about the print manuals we have available in the library. And the last thing I want to point out is the Help and More. And there's my picture, and you can email me, and that's my email address. And I hope you will if you have any questions, and I would be very glad to help you. And I hope you find these videos helpful.